Welcome back to Open Source. I'm here with Greg Di Prisco. Okay, Greg, you talked about USD before. I have a whole segment here just because I keep hearing about stablecoins in relation to USD. Maybe it's the information, that I'm constantly bombarded with, but it seems like the relationship between stablecoins and USD is more significant than other currencies. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. So we've seen almost zero demand for other currencies in terms of stablecoin adoption. Now, I think that's for a number of reasons, but the most important one is that global commerce is performed in dollars. And for a lot of people in other countries, what stablecoins give them is a way to have what amounts to a US dollar bank account without having to actually have a bank branch offer US dollars in their country. So that's been one of the primary innovations of stablecoins. It's allowing us to dollarize other economies that previously didn't have that kind of domestic access to dollars.
See, and this gets me into the next question, which is USD as a reserve currency. Well, should we be talking about stablecoins as a reserve currency?
It's the same thing. So stablecoins are the next way we can offer US dollars abroad. So far, we've done this through large international trading relationships, and that has kind of reached the limit of its scale. But now we have the ability to let people in other countries price their domestic transactions in dollars, which is going to open up an entirely new level of demand for the dollar that we haven't seen before. So I think the adoption of the US dollar as a reserve currency is aided and pushed forward by stablecoins in a way that you can't do with any other kind of technology.
Oh, 100%. Although I'm going to push back a little bit just because I enjoyed the conversation. Are stablecoins potentially a competitor to USD?
No, they are USD. I mean, really, you're getting to a very philosophical question,
Right.
which is what is a dollar? So when you go to the bank and you push numbers around from bank one to bank two, or you go and you pay with your Visa card at a restaurant, you're moving bank deposits around. But those bank deposits are only dollars because the Fed tells us they are. And stable coins in general are actually a much better dollar approximate than a bank deposit. Because if you go to bank one and you're trying to send money to bank two, sending money between those two is not a frictionless process. There's a lot of infrastructure behind the scenes that make sure that can actually happen, to make sure that your bank deposit is treated like a dollar. But the only thing in the world that's really a dollar is the bill that you have in your wallet or an account at the Federal Reserve, which only banks can have. So stable coins in almost every way are a better product than what we have today in being a US dollar.
See, it's an interesting conversation. Although you said it yourself, it's not quite a US dollar, right? Because you can convert anything to a stable coin, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is quite a US dollar in the colloquial sense. Nothing is a US dollar outside of the physical greenback that you might be carrying in your wallet. Like that's the only thing that's really a dollar. When you go to the bank and you see an account with dollars in it, that's a fractional reserve dollar. That's actually, in my opinion, less of a dollar than most stable coins.
No, I understand, but it's interesting. I'm literally learning as you speak, but I keep hearing about Bitcoin as a reserve currency, Bitcoin as a reserve currency. Never made sense to me because of Bitcoin's volatility. But with what you're teaching me about stable coins, well, stable coins should be the world's reserve currency. If it's the only sort of technological currency, and I buy your philosophical arguments about what a dollar is and what it isn't, the only thing that keeps it consistent across the world would be a stable coin.
The stable coins could be the way that we technologically deliver dollars as a reserve currency. But the dollar is the unit. Like, when we talk about a reserve currency, we're really talking what is the unit of account here? And the unit of account is the US dollar, whereas Bitcoin would be a separate reserve currency. And I actually think Bitcoin has its merits as a reserve currency, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think dollars are the way forward and stable coins are the way we deliver those dollars.
Okay, so there's definitely like USD equals stable coins. This is really the foundation of your entire industry right now.
Currently, yeah. Maybe in the future, people start wanting euros or yen or something, but right now they want dollars.
The technology, I mean, it's so interesting, you know, and I keep telling people, you know, online and in person and everything, you know, you gotta learn this stuff. You got, like, people are so afraid of crypto, and then you know, most people don't even know what Bitcoin is. To get to crypto, to get the stablecoins, you got to know this stuff. This is the future. Like, I appreciate everything you're teaching us. We've got Greg Di Prisco here on open source.